This is a SveNFL emergency podcast with John DeRollins
and Skiff Musara.
Yes, it is time to discuss the firing of one Robert Saleh. What's up, man?
I mean, this is a weird. Is this going to be like a thing? It was 2 weeks in a row we have to do an emergency pod. I thought the emergency podcast we were going to do this week was going to be related to Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
But no, we are here to
Woody
discuss.
Johnson said, "Hold my motherfucking Miller Lite." He probably drinks Miller Lite.
Woody Johnson drinks Miller Lite.
Hold my motherfucking $5 beer, and not the Giants $11 beer. Right? Don't they have different prices in the same building?
Yeah, that's right. It's fucked up. So yeah, it's true. Robert Saleh has been fired.
He was one of my favorite defensive coordinators when he was defensive coordinator of 49ers. Everybody, the league loved him. We knew he was going to be a head coach. And how the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, they fire him. What are we, between weeks 5 and 6?
Yep, off a London game.
They have a 2-3 record. And, you know, look, a lot of people, it's new. I mean, this couldn't happen in a worse place. You know what I mean? It's like the New York media atmosphere is just going bananas right now. I'll read you the quote from Woody Johnson himself. He says, "This change I made today, I believe, will bring new energy and positivity that will lead to more wins starting now." He claims that he did not consult with other members of the Jets front office.
What team would he be talking about? I mean, what members would he be talking about?
Well, like the general manager, Joe Douglas.
Oh, shit. This is an owner-specific thing.
He claims that he didn't talk to Joe Douglas before making the decision. There are these rumors that he spoke to Aaron Rodgers on Monday, which he did. Yeah. Rodgers said that we had a quick 5-minute conversation where he was just checking to see how I was recovering from being rolled up on my ankle.
The owner, hey man, I saw you got rolled up. You think the Buffalo Bills owner hit up Josh Allen? He's like, hey man, I saw your head bang against the ground really hard twice.
Yeah, definitely not.
If you're all right.
By all accounts, Robert Saleh was blindsided by this. He had no idea it was coming. He came into work on Tuesday morning and just thought, okay, we got to get ready for Monday Night Football. And Woody Johnson rolls in and says, "You're fired." So, I mean, look, there's a lot of ways to kind of attack this conversation. For starters,
don't use play action.
Right.
Because Rodgers doesn't like that. So if you're going to attack, don't use play action.
Here's the argument for firing Robert Saleh. Since becoming the head coach of the Jets, he has a 20-36 record.
Yes.
On the offensive side of the ball, he has a -26 turnover margin. And probably the most damning piece of evidence would be the fact that he has led a team that has been outscored by 267 points in the first half since he's become the head coach. That's the worst in the NFL. Now, the flip side of it, in light of the fact that I think you and I would both agree that Robert Saleh he's not a perfect coach by any stretch.
No, not at all.
However, he did have a top 5 and oftentimes top 1 defense in the NFL during his tenure.
It was his calling card.
Zach Wilson, who they drafted, was obviously a dud. But he still managed to win 7 games last year with this kind of weird cocktail of Wilson and Mike White and Tim Boyle.
Trevor Siemian
was in there too. Yeah, that's right. Robert Saleh is obviously a big part of the group that went out to court Rodgers to come to the Jets. Rodgers claims that one of the main reasons why he came was because of Robert Saleh. He gets him in the building. The Achilles situation hits, right? That's nobody's fault.
That's not it. He gets
this
him in
year
the building.
this year they win a couple of games after a week 1 loss, followed by 2 of the worst games in Aaron Rodgers' career, plus the inability of the team to run the ball. Surely Woody Johnson meant to fire Nate Hackett, right? I mean, is there a chance that he just walked into the wrong office?
I was yeah, Woody Johnson might be going to see now. I was going to mention that not only did they bring Rodgers in, but Rodgers made sure they brought in Alan Lazard, Nathaniel Hackett. He also brought in the one guy, too, last year. He probably retired. What was the other wide receiver? His old faithful guy. You know what I'm talking about. His godfather. He's godfather to the guy's kids.
Yeah, not Lazard.
No, but that's 2 wide receivers.
But the other one. I know who you're talking about. I can't think of his name right now. So it's
like they I think he let the Randall Cobb.
Randall Cobb.
He let the team get hijacked. But to me, that reflects on Robert Saleh. But there's also influence from above. Because I don't know how much he believed in Aaron Rodgers, but me knowing how cutthroat the league is, it's kind of naive to think that, well, since they're all in on this, it's not like they'll fire me. They made me bring in this guy and bend to his will. Because there's some coaches that just wouldn't go for that shit. It doesn't go well for them either normally, but then you leave with you leave with doing what you did. You know what I mean? You could believe in what you did. So hopefully he really believed Rodgers was the answer, and you fell on that sword. But he's not the reason, in my opinion. He's not the reason why the team. He's not the direct reason why they were losing. However, he's also the reason why the situation is what it is right now. Because he allowed. That was my problem with it. He allowed some guy, especially somebody who's looked at as like this alpha dude. You wouldn't have expected it, seeing all his passion on the sidelines for the 49ers that everybody grew to love and said he was going to be this coach, then to get cucked like that, it's not a good look.
Woody Johnson said another very curious thing in that part of his decision was based on the fact that he believes that this is the best roster ever assembled in New York Jets history. And or maybe just in his tenure, I can't remember. I'm not really sure that's the case.
No.
I mean, certainly
definitely not the case.
You can argue this on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, they're elite and they put the numbers up to prove it.
I remember when Curtis Martin was playing for them and like Vinny Testaverde and all of those guys.
Yeah. Also, the other thing that I think is quite telling in all of this, you fire the defensive-minded head coach because the offense sucks.
Yeah.
So you decide your interim coach is going to be your defensive coordinator, Jeff Ulbrich?
Yeah, what's Jeff going to do?
Make that make sense to me.
Yeah, it's so dumb. I think he should have made recent head coach Nathaniel Hackett the head coach. I'm serious, man.
Can you imagine if he had done that?
The guy has experience being a head coach. You're not going to have to worry about Rodgers is calling the offense anyway. So it's not – the offense is trash, but you got somebody who knows the functions of the head coach, even though he wasn't particularly good at it. Or take somebody from the offense. Like I remember when out of London, Miami Dolphins fired Joe Philbin. I remember that. They lost to the Jets, and they fired their coach. I found out as I was walking to the bus after that stupid loss. And I said, I didn't find out. I said it walking that they're going to fire him, and they're going to put Dan Campbell as the interim head coach. And Dan Campbell wasn't a coordinator. He was a tight ends coach. But we knew because we watched that fucking, what's it called? Hard Knocks. We watched that Hard Knocks, and it was like, that dude's going to be a coach. There's got to be somebody like that in their coaching staff that's not the actual coordinator. It's such an impulsive move to take your coordinator from your best unit and put them as head coach as if that's going to solve anything.
There are also rumors. I don't know if these are true or not, but there are rumors that on Tuesday before Saleh was fired, he was discussing with some of his staff about taking the play calling duties away from Nathaniel Hackett, and perhaps handing them off to their passing game coordinator. I don't know who that is, but anyway, yeah. A little bit about Jeff Ulbrich, just as by way of housekeeping. He's a former player, linebacker, spent his whole career with the 49ers. As a coach, he's been the DC for the Jets, as well as my Atlanta Falcons for quite some time. So, I mean, we've seen him on Hard Knocks too. I mean, he seems like a guy who can certainly motivate the group. So I can see that happening.
I guess it worked for Steve Wilkes when he was interim coach off of the DC position, and it worked out for the.
I still keep coming back around to the fact that I can't blame Robert Saleh for the Zach Wilson era. Not his fault.
No.
Right? I also can't blame him for Aaron Rodgers' Achilles injury, right? So you're left with a situation where the Jets are 2-3, right? One of those losses was the most recent one against the Minnesota Vikings, which, up until week 5 looked like the best team in the NFL, and the Jets really had a chance to win that game. Rodgers threw it away with 3 picks. The game that they lost prior to that, you can talk about the weather all you want. Rodgers didn't play well, and the offense couldn't score. And the only reason they lost that game is because the field goal kicker shanked it. So you're only one game out of first place in your division, and less than 7 days, Monday Night Football, you play the Bills next. That's the team that's in the first place in your division. You're essentially at the head of the pack in the Davante Adams sweepstake, right? The owner obviously thinks the Jets should be in win now mode. I don't see how this helps you get Davante. If I'm Davante Adams, I'm thinking over the weekend. I mean, his top 2 targets of where he supposedly wanted to land, the Saints and the Jets. You got this Jets drama playing out, and then you got Derek Carr is now out from a oblique injury. So it's like
he gonna come back hat in hand. Hey guys, hey Antonio, sorry about that, man.
Yeah.
The turf is greener on the other side.
There's been a lot of speculation, a lot of interesting questions asked that we'll never get answers to. Alternative explanations for why Woody Johnson lost his shit. Does it have something to do with the fact that they lost to Sam Darnold this past week, the former Jets number 3 overall pick? There are also reports that Woody Johnson spent the game in London watching his team fail with all of his old ambassador buddies in London. He used to be the ambassador to the UK.
To Sam Darnold.
So there's that. And to me, I mean, these things make a lot of sense to me. When you talk about billionaires, the only thing that hurts them is like when you fuck with their ego.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Losing to Sam Darnold is key.
Perhaps, yeah. I mean, it certainly feels like it may have been the trigger.
Yeah.
I don't. And also, okay, the other part of this is that you claim that the team is in win now mode, right? You think this team can go to the playoffs. It's not like this is a move for you only have Aaron Rodgers for maybe this year.
Yeah.
And next year
Max
at the most.
Next year, yeah.
And throw in the fact that never in the history of the NFL has a team ever gone to the Super Bowl with an interim head coach, ever.
Oh, shit.
So what about this makes sense at all?
Yeah, nothing. Good point, man. Good point, because you're gonna get the boost. You might get the first coach fired, whatever, boost that they always get, and then it peters off, man. Because if the coach was fired, it's probably a pretty bad team.
The Bills looking quite vulnerable this past weekend is the only thing that has me leaning towards the idea that the Jets do get this coach fired boost in this game. If I feel like if there's about 30 other teams in the league that if they were playing them this weekend, I would say, no, I don't think it applies here. I really don't. Maybe that's a little high, but I don't know. I just think, again, Robert Saleh is not I think we know enough at this point to know that Robert Saleh was not the guy who was going to get this team to where they want to be. But as you suggested, I don't think he was really in control. It doesn't feel to me that he had the same level of control over building not just the roster, but also his staff, that would make it possible for this team to be taken seriously as a true playoff contender.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is that the dude knows ball on the defensive side. So
yeah.
I am convinced. I mean, I think his phone's probably ringing off the hook already. There's probably a bunch of teams that would love to bring him in as a defensive coordinator if it were possible.
Robert Saleh. I thought you were talking about Ulbrich.
I don't know if I said that, but I meant to say Robert Saleh. I think Robert Saleh will be in high demand as a defensive coordinator. And I don't see any reason why he couldn't climb his way back into potentially becoming a head coach again under very different circumstances where he has a chance to build his staff the way he wants to build it. There's no fucking way this guy wants to work with Nate Hackett. No way.
Check out what I found.
What's that?
Shit. I don't know how to. Can you hear that? You couldn't hear that?
Mm-mm.
Oh, my screen started acting up. All right. An anonymous Jets player has spoken up anonymously.
Ooh, I love anonymous.
Yes. He's unidentified. But he said it's a shocking firing. He said the 2-3 Jets are struggling on offense despite having Rodgers at quarterback. And we're not a united locker room. With not all of the team's problems are at the feet of Robert Saleh. He said, I have massive respect for Coach Saleh, and I feel bad that he got fired as he tried everything he could to make the best out of this team. And they're saying it's a star player. I don't know. The responsibility of the bad start is also because of us, too, the players, as we haven't found the best chemistry yet. And some guys who are stars are being too selfish and don't want to put their egos on the side for the best interest of the team. It's quite embarrassing. Some players can't even look at themselves in the mirror. We have to do better ASAP or we're going to hit a wall hard. And the consequences will be very disappointing for all of us, the board, and mostly the fans.
Wow. Interesting. I don't know, man.
It doesn't feel like something you do, like you said, as an interim coach that never brought a team to the Super Bowl. And it's not like it would make sense. Like if the Broncos did it last year, did they do it midseason?
With Hackett?
Hackett. No, he wasn't. But 2 years ago, he got fired at the end of the season, right? Or was it like it wasn't this early? But
I feel like it was like around week 11 or 13 or something.
Oh, okay, so he got fired midseason. Okay,
I think so.
But that made sense. Like we looked and we're like, this dude's calling scared to call timeout, didn't call timeout, bad time, getting too many penalties, like little stuff like that, head coach stuff. But this defensive-minded coach was having a top 5 defense every year that he's coaching, and I pulled up their quarterbacks for the Jets since 2021. Zach Wilson, Mike White, Joe Flacco. Zach Wilson, Mike White, Joe Flacco. These are all quarterbacks that started 2023. Zach Wilson, Trevor Siemian, Tim Boyle, and then one game with Aaron Rodgers. What the fuck did y'all expect? That he put together 7 wins is impressive last year. And that's why people were projecting them to go to the Super Bowl this year. Like, remember how I thought it was ridiculous? You thought it was ridiculous, but people were projecting the Jets to win the AFC East, go to the Super Bowl was the most, lofty projection. But winning the AFC East was like, they had best odds, I think, right?
I think so, yeah.
They had best odds for the AFC East. And then
I expected them to be much improved, but I did not expect them to be a Super Bowl team.
I didn't either. I couldn't see where everybody was coming from with this. I still knew that Aaron Rodgers was 40. I think Tom Brady got everybody fucked up. Tom Brady is an anomaly, but yeah, it's really crazy to try to, when we all know what the issue is. Everybody knows why this team is struggling, but they just don't want to face it.
Absolutely. It also doesn't look good that former Jets quarterbacks who have moved on to other places have thrived elsewhere, such as Sam Darnold, Geno Smith.
Yep. Oh, good point. Forgot about Geno.
I'm sure there's some others.
Mark Sanchez, he's doing great in the booth.
He is crushing it in the booth.
He's one of my favorites, though.
Yeah, I like him.
But another one that's gone since his, I guess he didn't play that long. I was gonna say Michael Vick, Ryan Fitzpatrick, but they had him. He went on and did good things when he left. That's kind of it, though. Luke Falk tearing the league up now.
Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco is, and he's somebody they could have kept.
Yeah.
To help right the ship, but they went all in on Aaron Rodgers. If they would have kept Joe Flacco last year, it could have helped them when Rodgers went down.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say about this other than obviously this Monday night game, Jets versus the Bills, has suddenly gotten a lot juicier.
Yeah, I'm wondering right now if Josh Allen's sitting in a dark room.
Yeah, I hope so.
I hope so, too, for his concussion's sake.
While we're here, we might as well mention a few other things that popped up since the last time we spoke. Drake May is going to replace Jacoby Brissett as the starting quarterback for the Patriots in Week 6.
Good.
I think maybe I honestly I think they probably hoped that they could sit him for the season.
Yeah.
But I think
it's not
I think they probably are trying to stave off some kind of locker room mutiny, so to speak.
We've talked about this before. Like, these players, I'm still putting my body at risk. I'm out here playing my ass off, and I know you're keeping us from winning, or possibly from the best chance of winning.
Yeah.
Because you don't want this guy to get hurt. Who's this? This fucking rookie?
Also, the logic doesn't hold up. The idea that Drake May should sit and learn from the veteran Jacoby Brissett. This is not the same as Jordan
Rodgers
Love sitting
Favre.
and learning. Rodgers behind Favre, Love behind Rodgers, Mahomes behind Alex Smith. There's real things to learn from that experience. I don't know if sitting behind a journeyman quarterback who can never command anything more than a 1-year deal, I don't see how that is really helpful to Drake May. At this point, I think the reps are probably more valuable.
Yeah.
I don't know what it will do. Obviously, nobody does. We'll see, because Week 6 is when we're going to see it for the first time. The other quarterback who's, like I said, Derek Carr, is going to miss some time, which appears to be paving a way for rookie Spencer Rattler to start for the Saints. Spencer Rattler, I know quite well, given that he was the starting quarterback for the South Carolina Gamecocks.
I got a Gamecock.
Where did he go? He transferred somewhere else. Did he go to Oklahoma or something? I can't remember. Anyway, He's an interesting quarterback. I don't know what to expect. He's a bit of a gunslinger. He can also run, but man, he loves to throw interceptions.
Well, so does Derek Carr.
So we'll see. He's a lot more mobile than Derek Carr. He's interesting. He could give them a real. I could see him giving them a real boost. But he's dangerous in more ways than one.
It looks kind of like Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, a little bit. Also, it appears the Raiders have held a 2-day quarterback battle between Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell, and Aiden O'Connell is expected to start for the Raiders this weekend.
Did they? Was the Spider-Man meme involved? That's the only winner of the battle. They battled it out for the Spider-Man meme. Spider-Man man came out on top. All right.
Yeah, and I guess the final thing we learned is that Rashee Rice is probably done for the year.
Damn.
LCL surgery. The only thing that's
Devontae.
They're never going to trade him there, but.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Well, now they just fucking got 100+ yards with Juju. So it's like they're probably like, fuck it, we'll just keep doing this. We'll do that thing we did last year. Remember how we didn't have anyone?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
It's crazy. But yeah, a lot of crazy stuff happened since we last spoke.
Yeah, man. Love this league.
If we have any Jets fans out there,
my condolences.
Yeah.
It's been a rough 20 years. Not 16 years. Mark Sanchez, back then when they beat the Patriots and the Bart Scott can't wait. That was 2009. Don't they have
I think they have the longest playoff drought in sports history.
Playoff drought? No, playoff.
Like of any league. I think I heard that yesterday. Like
Shit.
Like they have the longest.
The last time was like 2009, I think. Damn. But we have the biggest playoff win drought.
What's the other one? We've been to the moon since the last time the Jets won a Super Bowl.
Damn.
Like we managed to figure out how to go to the moon, and the Jets still can't manage to figure out how to win a second Super Bowl.
Joe Namath is like, come on, man. I can't do this much longer. All these guarantees.
Yeah. Crazy.
Man. Well.
That's it.
Damn. There's only one way to end a show like this, man. And that's with this. That was the SveNFL emergency podcast. Robert Saleh is gone, but we'll be back. We'll try to get him on to talk about it. Thank y'all for checking it out, man. It's been Jonathan Rollins.
Skip me, Sarah.
With SveNFL. Peace.
Later, y'all.